Here's a question for you. How much did you spend eating out last month? Don't know? Don't worry, almost nobody does. And that's exactly the problem this book is going to fix. Jesse Mecham was 22 years old, a broke college student living in a 300-square-foot basement apartment with his new wife, Julie. No car, a bus pass. Julie was earning $10.50 an hour. They wanted kids. They wanted Julie to eventually stay home with those kids. And on paper, that dream looked completely impossible. So Jesse, a numbers nerd training to be an accountant, built a spreadsheet. He tracked every dollar. And within a couple of months, something strange happened. This desperately poor couple realized they were actually doing fine. They were hitting their goals. They weren't stressed. Nothing about their income had changed, only how they looked at it. That spreadsheet became a company. Today, it's used by hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and it's called YNAB. You need a budget. And the reason it works when every other budget you've ever tried has failed isn't about discipline or willpower or being good with money. It comes down to 4 deceptively simple rules that completely flip how you think about the cash sitting in your bank account right now. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your old budgets collapsed within a month and what to do instead. Let's get into it. Mecham opens with something almost nobody expects from a money book. Forget about the money. Most of our financial stress boils down to 2 questions running on a loop in our heads. Can I afford this? And its evil twin, should I be doing this? Should I be saving more for retirement? Should I go on the trip my cousin just posted on Instagram? These questions never resolve. They just keep looping because we're answering them with guesswork instead of a system. Mecham says there's a better question entirely. What do I want my money to do for me? Not what do you want? That's just a wish list. This is about deciding what kind of life you actually want to live and then pointing your dollars at it on purpose. Once you know the answer, spending decisions stop being agonizing. A vacation isn't reckless if it's what you decided your money should do. A subscription isn't essential just because everyone else has it. Your budget becomes the plan for a life you're choosing, not a cage somebody built around you. Chapter 1 nails the reason most budgets die within 30 days, and it's brutal. What you were doing wasn't budgeting. It was forecasting. Think about the last spreadsheet you built. Rows for rent, groceries, savings, a vacation fund. You plugged in numbers for what you hoped you'd spend next month. That's not a plan. That's a guess dressed up as responsibility. You're predicting a future that hasn't happened yet, based on money you don't have yet. The moment real life shows up, and it always does, the guess falls apart, you feel like a failure, and you quit. Real budgeting only ever deals with money you already have, right now, today. Mecham illustrates this with a simple scene. You've got $400 in your account. Cell phone bill, cable bill, a dinner you're cooking for a date, your brother's birthday tomorrow, and a credit card payment you'd completely forgotten about. Suddenly, $400 doesn't stretch nearly as far as it looked. That uncomfortable, tight feeling? That's scarcity, and Mecham insists it's actually a good thing. It's your brain finally seeing money as the finite resource it always was. Scarcity forces real priorities to surface. You trim the dinner menu, you set a hard cap on the birthday spending, and suddenly you've got room for that credit card payment too. Nothing about your income changed. Only your intentionality did. That's the whole game. Stop forecasting the future. Start assigning the present. This is the foundation everything else sits on. The moment money lands in your account, a paycheck, a birthday check, a freelance payment, you give it a job before it has the chance to just quietly vanish. Not vague jobs like savings or spending money. Specific jobs ranked by what matters most to you. Rent, groceries, debt payoff, a trip to Italy, a tattoo. Whatever it is, if it's a real priority, it gets dollars before anything else touches them. Here's the mindset shift underneath it. Your spending has to clear a higher bar. When every dollar already has a job, an impulse purchase isn't just, is this in my budget? It's, am I willing to steal this from something I said mattered more to me? That reframe alone kills a huge amount of pointless spending because it's no longer about restriction. It's about protecting a decision you already made. And Mecham makes a promise that shows up again and again throughout the book. Every one of the 4 rules is really just rule 1. applied to a different situation. Keep that in mind. It'll click into place as we go. This might be the single most powerful idea in the entire book. Think about your last crazy month. A wedding gift, a flat tire, a copay after tripping over the dog, a GoFundMe for a coworker's kid. You probably told yourself, this was just an unusually expensive month. Then next month, a totally different set of surprises hit, and you said the exact same thing. Here's the truth Mecham wants you to sit with. It's never actually a crazy month. It's just life. And most of those surprises aren't surprises at all. They're predictable if you zoom out far enough. Your car will need tires eventually. Your aging cat will need a vet visit. The holidays happen every single December, on schedule forever. Rule 2 says, treat these irregular expenses like monthly bills. Break a $1,200 annual car insurance premium into $100 a month. Start funding December's gift budget in February. Save for a wedding, a business launch, a sabbatical the same way. In small, boring, monthly installments long before you need the cash. Mecham compares it to climbing a mountain. Look at the whole climb, and it's terrifying. Break it into small hills, and your heart rate barely moves. $10,000 of debt feels impossible. A few $100s a month feels like skipping a couple of dinners out. And here's the part that should genuinely excite you. Once you're doing this consistently, Mecham argues you don't need a traditional emergency fund anymore. Instead of one vague pile of money labeled in case of emergency, you have specifically purposed money sitting in categories for medical costs, car repairs, and job loss coverage. It's the same cash, but because it has a job, you're far less likely to raid it carelessly and far more prepared when something actually happens. He also tackles a myth head-on. People with irregular income, freelancers, servers, commission-based workers, often think budgeting doesn't apply to them because their paychecks are unpredictable. Mecham flips this completely. If your income is unpredictable, you need this system more than anyone because there's zero margin for the guesswork that a steady salary can absorb. Try this thought experiment. Plan out next Friday, hour by hour. Now, guess how closely you'll actually follow it. Exactly. Life doesn't cooperate with plans, not your calendar, and not your budget. And here's where Mecham corrects the single biggest myth about budgeting. Changing your budget is not failure. Most of us were taught that budgeting is about iron discipline, and that adjusting the numbers mid-month means we've cheated. Mecham says that's backwards. You're actually never more accountable than the moment you move money between categories to reflect what really happened. Overspent on dinner out? Pull the difference from your vacation fund. That's not failure. That's you dealing honestly with reality instead of pretending the spreadsheet is more real than your life. The one rule that doesn't bend, your bottom line. You can shuffle money endlessly between categories, but you can't spend more than you actually have. That's the boxing metaphor the rule is named for. Bob and weave. Adjust your position constantly, and the punches barely land. Stand rigid and refuse to move, and you get knocked flat. There's a nice honesty check buried in here, too. If you're constantly overspending in the exact same category every single month, that's not really rolling with the punches anymore. That's a sign your original number was never realistic. Mecham tells his own story here. He and Julie blew their grocery budget for nearly a decade before finally admitting Julie was simply done clipping coupons with 3 kids in tow. The fix wasn't more discipline. It was an honest number. Picture the cereal dispenser at a college dining hall. New cereal gets poured in the top and lands on top of what's already there. You scoop from the bottom. If you're eating cereal that landed in that tower yesterday, one missed refill and you're out of food. But if you're eating cereal that's been sitting there for 10 days, you've got a real buffer. That's Rule 4. It measures the gap between when you earned $1 and when you actually spend it. Spend money the same day it lands, and you're living on the financial edge, completely exposed to any disruption. Mecham's target: get to the point where you're spending money that's at least 30 days old, meaning the paycheck hitting your account today doesn't need to cover a single bill this month, because last month's money already has that covered. He phrases the shift beautifully. Without Rule 4, you've got a stack of bills waiting for money. With Rule 4, you've got a stack of money waiting for bills. And here's the real payoff. It's not really about the money. It's about what that buffer does to your brain. One YNAB user in the book, a software engineer named Alex, went from saving 15% of his paycheck to saving 70% within 6 months. Not through extreme sacrifice, but simply by finally seeing where his money was going. Turns out he was quietly spending $450 a month on eating out without ever noticing. Once his money had aged past a month, he said something that sums up the entire promise of this book. "I never feel like I need a paycheck." That sentence is the whole point of YNAB. The good news, rules 1 through 3 naturally produce rule 4. You don't chase this one directly. It's simply what happens when you consistently give dollars jobs, fund true expenses ahead of time, and stay honest about your bottom line. If you want to speed it up, Mecham suggests a short, intense sprint, a temporary burst of extra income and extreme frugality, purely to build that first month's buffer. Then you go back to normal life. Money is one of the leading causes of relationship conflict, and Mecham says most of that conflict isn't really about money. It's about unspoken assumptions. His fix is refreshingly concrete. Before you ever open a spreadsheet together, have a budget date that isn't about numbers at all. Talk about what he calls Rule 0, what actually matters to each of you, individually and as a couple. From there, he recommends sorting priorities into 3 buckets: yours, mine, and ours. One personal, no questions asked priority for each partner, plus a couple of shared ones. One partner might get full control over a hobby budget. The other gets creative freedom over the furniture fund. Neither has to justify it to the other, because it's already been agreed on. He also pushes hard for a joint account over separate ones. Not out of romance, but simplicity. Fewer accounts means fewer decisions eaten up by logistics, and more energy left for the conversations that actually matter. And every couple, he insists, needs a small stash of personal fund money each. His and Julie started at just $5 apiece, because a budget with 0 breathing room is a budget that's about to break. Mecham reserves his strongest opinion in the whole book for one sentence: debt is not an option. His argument isn't really about interest rates, it's about cash flow. Every dollar going to a debt payment is a dollar that's already been claimed by a decision you made in the past, which means it can't go toward a priority you have right now. His practical advice: fund your true expenses first, so a surprise bill doesn't send you straight back into debt. Then, if you're juggling multiple debts, pay off the smallest balance first. Not necessarily the highest interest rate, because eliminating an entire monthly payment frees up both cash and mental bandwidth faster than shaving down interest ever will. One story stands out. A college grad named Mitchell stared down $104,000 in student loans and paid it off completely by age 27. Not purely through frugality, but by deliberately growing his income while keeping his spending frozen at his old salary. His conclusion, which Mecham clearly agrees with: cutting expenses only gets you so far. At some point, raising your income is the faster lever. The book closes its practical section with something sweet. Mecham has 6 kids, and he runs the same 4 rules with them on their allowances. Watching a 9-year-old choose between a stuffed penguin and a stack of Pokemon cards is, it turns out, the exact same skill as an adult choosing between a vacation and a car repair fund. Kids just do it with far less baggage. No guilt, no shame spiral, just, okay, my priorities changed, which might be the most useful reminder in the whole book for the adults reading it. Mecham ends with a confession. He once nearly abandoned budgeting entirely over a 50-cent donut he couldn't afford to buy. That's how tight their early budget was, and how close a good system can come to collapsing from having 0 breathing room built in. His closing diagnosis is that almost every urge to quit traces back to one thing: perfectionism. Setting spending targets you have no real data to support. Expecting instant behavior change. Treating a single overspent category as proof the whole system failed. His fix for all of it is the same: budgeting is never binary. As long as you're still engaging with your money, you are succeeding, even on the months that look messy. And if you do fall off entirely, he built a fresh start feature into YNAB for exactly that moment. Because the healthiest move isn't guilt. It's simply going back to that one question from the very beginning of the book. What do I want my money to do for me? That question is really the whole book in 8 words. Not a spreadsheet, not a rule book, a repeated, honest gut check about the life you're actually trying to build with the dollars you actually have right now, today. If this breakdown was useful, subscribe for more book summaries like this one. And let me know in the comments, which of the 4 rules do you think you're breaking the most?